as always to the Northwest Chamber for putting this together. As urban legislators, which we are, in contrast to Representative Jackson, where did he go? Is he gone? But he would have, had some event like this, I think, every Friday in his district. But for us, we really only get invited to something like this maybe once a year, and we really value it because it's an opportunity for you to understand that we're doing something in your name, and gives us some accountability. And as always, whenever I'm in front of you, I want to thank you for the honor of representing you. Thank you for re-electing me this year without opposition. I'd like to think that's an endorsement of my service and not an illustration of your complete and utter apathy. Might be a mix of the two. But it is a great honor to represent where I grew up, and I'm re-upped for another 4 years, thanks to you. And by the way, on that note, I wish he were here today and we could maybe honor him even more formally, but someone to our east, Greg and I's east, is leaving the Senate and has been a good member for this area for a long time. That's Cliff Brannon, and he's term limited, and I hope if you run into him, you'll thank him. He'll still be a senator officially until November, and I hope you'll thank him for his service. Yeah, well, somebody tell me his which leads me to, it was mentioned that Sally is the dean of our delegation, which is accurate. And if you don't go in for legislative jargon, that means that she's been the longest serving member from our Northwest Chamber delegation. And that made me think about the Senate. So in the Senate side, specifically the Senate side, we have actually 5 senators total from Northwest Oklahoma City, and 3 of them are leaving this year, which leaves Greg and I in a bitter power struggle for who will be the dean of the Senate delegation. Which is an illustration, it's kind of funny, it shows a little bit of the inner mechanics of the Senate. So in the Senate, and I'm sure in the House, we select desks, offices, and parking spots based on how long you've been there, your seniority. And though Greg and I are part of a class that is fairly tight-knit, and we even have a name for ourselves, and there's about 10 of us, and we all think of ourselves as brothers and sisters in this class, he is always quick to point out that all falls apart when we select offices, parking spots, and desks, because suddenly we remind him that he was elected in a special election 3 months after the rest of us. And he truthfully moves into the bottom of the list. So we're all brothers until we got to get technical about it. In which case, I'm the dean, just so you know. I thought I'd just give you an observation, a big picture observation about your delegation. I've probably said this to many of you before, but you are represented by a delegation that is really more conservative than the rest of the state for the most part, especially from, so I've got a fly up here if you want to. Don't take any pictures of this, Joe. Especially on free market and limited government issues. And there are, almost everyone up here has fought a unfortunately lonely battle in a particular area. I mean, with Jason, it's school choice. With Randy, it's pension reform. With David, it's it's obviously tax credits. And so I'm continue to be a little disappointed in the legislature. Not as much as David's about to be. Get ready for that. You need to go to the bathroom, go now. When he gets up here, he's going to rail on the legislature, and Scott Carter's pen is going to start moving. So that's going to be fun for everybody. But I share many of his disappointments because, for me, when we took over, we being Republicans, which you, by the way, if you haven't noticed, we're all Republicans in the delegation. When we took over, we should have been helping immediately on day one, helping Pat and Bruce and John and their colleagues at the city level put taxpayers above unions. We haven't done a thing really to help to help the taxpayers of local communities make their own budgetary decisions and not hand those decisions over to the labor unions. We should have celebrated the accomplishments Randy just talked about. We should have been talking about those at the 2011 legislative election. And it goes without saying that a lot of the things that David and Jason and the rest of us have all fought for, we should have been able to tell you about those in year one. Instead, we're still fighting for those things. And it's unfortunate, but we will continue that fight. I think you've got people up here that both stand for the right things, and are actually on the right side of public opinion. You know, people might tell you that we haven't accomplished these things because of politics. That if you define politics as public opinion, we're absolutely on the right side. Oklahoma supports school choice. They support, and along with common sense, supports pension reform, and they support tax credit reform. But there are special entrenched interests at the Capitol that are unfortunately many times more powerful than public opinion. So we'll keep fighting, and we'll keep standing for the right things. And I'm proud to serve with all these people. I hope you are proud to be represented by them, and I look forward to your questions. Thanks.